Vin's Minute Modcast with Sadia and Ashni. Episode
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Vin's Minutes Modcast with his mates. Hey Satya, and hello Ashni.
Hiya.
The question for you, Ashni, with your what you do in your day job, we kind of look at some of the cutting edge things that look at this week. Look at this really cool technology that's come out. What's the real world look like in terms of the corporates that you work with, and how much are they actually looking at this area, or is it more just peeking over the fence and saying, "Hey, this thing's coming," but Excel and PowerPoint still my best friends?
I know it's a great question, and I think you've got corporate on both sides of the camp. Well, either side of the camp, should I say. You've got ones that embrace it in their everyday, and they'll have, the AI note taker join meetings, all the way to that end to corporates that frankly are a little scared and a little skeptical and almost look at Excel and PowerPoint as their beloved familiar tools that they've worked with for years. And actually, if it's not broken, why are we trying to fix it? But I will say AI, that buzzword is thrown around a lot. And so it's interesting because I think with great power comes great responsibility. And so I think the corporates that are more sort of skeptical and cautious, they're just worried that ultimately it could even replace some of their employees one day. And so they'd rather just sort of stay a little bit behind and, might take a little bit longer to do things, but actually they know they're safer for now. And something that was really interesting, you were talking about sort of what new sci-fi series or movies will be coming out. I mean, I definitely think there's going to be many, and probably have already been many movies and series made about AI taking over and dominating the world. And I've definitely seen a lot of sort of posts about if you're not nice to ChatGPT now, then it's going to remember that in 50 years when it's taken over the world, and you're not going to be in its good books. So I think some people do then approach AI with that level of caution, but others are all in.
I was listening to a podcast last week, and like with all of these things, you could see it as like, right, this is the end for certain occupations, but also it's an opportunity to sort of monetize something that you're not going to have forever. So, without talking sort of cryptically, they gave an example of like well-known actors. Now, imagine you could create a digital twin of Amitabh Bachchan or Brad Pitt or something, right? At his prime. And now you could have people who really like a particular genre using that AI version to create TV series, create a movie in that sort of likeness. And then that particular actor is given credits and monetized in terms of royalties for every time his likeness and his voice is used. I mean, why not?
That's fascinating. It's almost like digital twinning. It reminds me of Black Mirror, which is a fantastic TV series, possibly one of the best. I'm guessing by your reaction, you've both seen it. I mean, I would love to just get inside Charlie Brooker's mind because the ideas that he comes up with, it's simply wonderful because it's almost so close to what humanity could turn into if AI really did take over. And so as you were saying this, I was like, that's probably a Black Mirror episode I've seen as well.
Absolutely. So I was listening to a Zoho, the company called Zoho, and I was listening to the founder of it, and he said that internet so far has been majorly a platform for distribution. So you recorded music, then you distribute it via YouTube. But now with AI, what we are changing is the source of it. So how you produce music is different. How you produce films is different because that remained unchanged for last many decades, and now is the time when this is changing. And I think more and more it might become more democratic because if I have an idea, if I do not have access to Amitabh Bachchan, I have access to his digital twin, isn't it? And then maybe it's a lot more cheaper, a lot more budget friendly to create a series of which I imagine can look like, or create alternative endings instead of talking about it, creating it. Music which I don't like, maybe just I add my own music to the movies that look interesting to me. So I think it will be a very different type of era.
Totally. And the tools are progressing so rapidly. So obviously in the early days it was just like, okay, you can generate an image, and then a couple of years after that it was like, okay, now you can create videos, right, from either typing in a box or using an image to create a video like I typically do at the beginning of all of our little podcasts that you've seen. But before it was like 5 seconds, and then you could pay a little extra for to have like a 10-second clip. And now it's getting to the stage. I was looking at some tools this week where it literally create, I think it's 30 minutes, might even be an hour worth of content, and it remembers the character. So in each of the next part of it in the director's shot, it makes sure it's the same individual, right? And either you can just let the AI create the whole movie, or
Mhm.
you can have real hands on to say, well, I wanted to come in, like zoom on this one and then come in from the behind or whatever. So again, great in terms of productivity and efficiency and cost. But again, what does that mean in terms of disruption to the tens or hundreds of thousands of people that are doing this hand by hand, Disney
Yeah.
style coloring in the frames? What's that mean?
It's just crazy. Just even to say AI can create a film.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
you think about the such rapid advancements that it's making. And I think it's so hard because we live in such a digitized, instantaneous society. We pick up our phone, we
mm,
can order food and clothes and anything really within 3 clicks.
yeah,
And it's so hard then to find the balance because there's just more and more to explore with AI. But at what point is it just too much? And at what point do we need to rein back that power and going back to the article, still remain the center of the story?
yeah. No, fascinating. As you were talking there, Ashley, I was also thinking we press the 3 clicks to order, the food comes, and whilst we're eating the food, we're looking at our phones, and you're just like, man,
It's
what's happening here?
it's you go from I think that I've seen something online where it's you go from the big screen at work to the little screen on your way home, back to the big screen at home, and then to the little screen before you go to bed. Um,
Yeah, and sometimes concurrently.
yeah, exactly, and that's
You
why
can't
it's
just do one thing at a time anymore, can you? You've got to
no,
kind of,
exactly, and that's why it's called Black Mirror. That series, it's the Black Mirror of your screen, and our attention span then is just decreasing. You
yeah,
can't even watch a video for longer than 10 seconds without thinking of the next thing or watching
yeah,
something else at the same time.
yeah. No, the world is totally changing. I know this because my mum spends more time on TikTok and Facebook than I do. So yeah, she's addicted to those. So yeah, what's it like in India, Satya, in terms of adoption of all of this stuff?
I think India is early adopters country, so you see all kinds of content, all kinds of behavioral addictions as well. Yes,
Yeah,
my mother likes to look at the YouTube shorts, so she's addicted to YouTube shorts, for
yeah,
example. And that's also concerning for the younger generation because I see my nephew also looking at the screen and getting really glued to it. At least as elders, we know how the world is without screens. But people who are born like last year or this year
yeah,
onwards, they don't know what it is like otherwise. I think it's almost like they're addicted to like cigarettes or it's as dangerous as it is. So while there are many good things, I think there's a lot more responsibility and accountability on us who have seen it all so far. Looks like we are very old, but who have seen the world without mirrors, Black Mirror, and now with Black Mirror. And I think it'll take time. And it also reminds me of this book called 1984, if you've
of course.
so,
Yes.
so we are closer to that. Also very scary sometimes because people do not have patience to listen to you also. It's not just on screen, right? Like just even
Right.
in person, there's no patience to hear me out. No, there's nothing.
Yeah, and on the topic of sort of having that responsibility, also begs the question, like, who really is going to monitor this? There's no AI police. So the onus is on us as individuals, but then also you think, is it on organizations, corporations, perhaps for their employees? But then in our personal lives, it's only us. And it's almost scary in a sense because AI does have this free reign. There's not a body of people that are out to make sure people aren't using AI enough. So you could use it in your everyday, all day, every day, and no one could really say anything, especially because of how much it likes to mimic human life, human interaction, the way that we communicate, even the way that we think. So I think the question of regulation as well with the ethical implications is a fascinating one to consider.